Hi everyone, and welcome today to Bepro Masterclass. Let me share with you my screen first. I hope that you all see my can see my screen now. Perfect. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for everyone for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome each one of you to our brand new program, Ace the Basics. My name is Azza Fraj, and I will be the host of the program. Today's marks our very first webinar session of Ace the Basics, and we are proud to host it here with these wonderful people. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciations to all of you who generously helped us make this event come together to become a success. While we are waiting for everyone to join the webinar, please make sure to follow these instructions. Please make sure that all your mics are on mute. Type in any question in the chat box, and please message us your email to receive a copy of today's presentation, as well as the material we will be sharing with you today. Now, let's get a look at today's agenda. First, we will introduce our speakers. You will then get a Q&A session to get to know each other better. And after that, we will start the first course, Q&A session, and then the second course and its Q&A session. Finally, we will give you all the needed information about the course and where you can find them. Now, let's wait a little bit more for our participants to join. I would love to start by welcoming first our video editing instructor, Joel Edelblute.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna get started here. I'm gonna share my screen for you guys because I want to introduce the Premiere Pro program, but I also want to introduce what are the kinds of things that you can do with Premiere. So here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. This will be Premiere Pro. Okay, screen 2, share. And let me know if you can all see my program here. You can see it? All right, great. Okay, so I have been video editing for about 10 years. It's been a really long time when I think about it, more time than I care to admit, but it's been a lot of fun. I have done a ton of things in my career as a video editor. So I could tell you all of the different things you could do with Adobe Premiere, all of the different theoretical positions, but we could probably be here for a really long time talking about all of the different jobs that you could do using this really powerful program. But so I've decided I just want to show you a timeline, a literal timeline. If you know a little bit about video editing, you can see that that's a joke. Timeline of all the things that I've done as a video editor. So in 2012, I was originally got started with video editing with summer camps. And you can see that here. This is something that we would do with a youth group that I was involved in. We would play around in the lake, play sports, go boating, paintball, all that kind of stuff. And it was a blast. But my job as part of this summer camp was to make a video every night. So what I had to do was I had to go out and I had to film this, and then I had to take it back the same day, take it back to the computer, take it to Premiere Pro, and edit it down into the most interesting or most exciting parts to watch. So that night, we would all the campers would go into this big white tent and we would watch the video, and it was a lot of fun. It was great to see what happened that day. But I had to learn Premiere Pro really fast. So basically all I learned during that time was how to trim and to cut clips, because that's all I needed to do. I just needed to find the best parts and I needed to string them all out in what we call a montage, which is just a kind of an unrelated collection of clips. You can see that these are kind of unrelated. You know, somebody's dancing here, they're playing in the water, having fun. So the next thing that I did, I wanted to get into video editing more. I wanted to learn how to do something that would make me a little bit of money. You know, I have a professional career. So if you're ever looking for where the money is, look at weddings, because people are always willing to pay a lot to capture the memories from this very special day. So during this phase of my career, I started to learn how to create scenes. And scenes is a little bit different from a montage because they're connected shots. You can see that one shot where we're really zoomed in, we can see them, they're very happy. And the next shot, they're walking down the aisle. So that's a scene where the shots actually connect together. This is the next evolution of my process of learning Premiere Pro. So moving on, I did about 30 weddings and I was like, okay, I think I've done enough weddings now. I want to move on to something else. So I got involved with marketing. And this was a job that I did with Western Seminary, which is a university on the West Coast of the United States. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to highlight some of their university's programs and the classes and the things that the students were learning. So I can play this forward. You can see it start to add a little bit of production quality to my videos. You can see there's really nice lighting on his face, which is something that we did. We actually got lighting. And then also we have started to add in some graphics. Graphics is just another name for text and titles. And that was something that learned how to do in Premiere and to continue my journey as a video editor. So next, I kind of took a step sideways. This happened about the same time. And I did we made some vlogs. My friend and I, we would go out into nature, like a wildlife vlog, and we would try to find interesting creatures. My friend was really into reptiles at the time. So we would find these, he would talk about the reptiles, give some interesting facts, try to make it entertaining. But during this time, I wanted to get a little bit more serious about my audio quality. And you can see right behind this text, I'm actually going to move this out of the way. You can see there's a microphone right there. It kind of looks like this fuzzball. And that microphone really brought up the quality of the video. You know, usually you think you're just looking at visuals, but there's actually 50% of the equation is audio and is having quality audio. So, you know, including this microphone as part of my process was a big step up for me. Next thing I did was another fun hobby project was start to record video games. You can see we're playing a pirate video game here. And what I needed to learn at this stage of my career and the projects that I was doing was how to get really good video quality, because this actually had to be recorded on the computer where we were playing the games. And I had to make sure that it didn't look pixelated, that the image was very clear and was very sharp in my recording. So I learned a lot about the difference between resolution, full HD, 4K, 8K, and frames per second. You know, a lot of these things you may have heard if you're into video editing. If not, don't worry about it. That's more of the technical stuff you don't necessarily have to know, but it is good to know. So moving on, social media. So this is very popular. There's more video content in social media than ever before. It's a really great skill. So you can see, as I move this forward, you can see that this pops up on screen. This is very classic. The subscribe button, hit the like button, subscribe, and notified for more. You've heard it many times. And what I had to learn during this phase of my career was watchability. It was getting someone to stay watching the video, keeping their attention. So that means cutting when things become less interesting, taking out the dead air, keeping things on screen like this, switching angles, the kind of things that you need to do when there's so much fast-paced content on social media. How is your video going to stand out? Those are the kind of questions that I had to ask myself. And finally, my favorite project, film and narrative. So this is a stop motion animation that I did. And what stop motion is, if you're not familiar, is you take these characters, these are Lego characters, by the way, little toys, and you move them one frame at a time. So I'm going to move one frame. You can see there's a slight movement. So that was me. I would move the character just a little bit, take a picture, move the character again, take a picture, move the character again. And you can see how many different characters there are back here. All of these are moving at the same time. So it was very tedious. It took a long, long time, but it was definitely well worth it to see it all come together. I'll hit play and you can kind of see what this looks like. You can see the characters are moving there. This is specifically a Star Wars scene, kind of recreated, telling a different story. That was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorite projects to work on. So anyway, worked on a lot of projects. There's more videos here than I could possibly show, but I just want to give you a taste of the different kinds of careers that you can do with Premiere Pro. So I'll pass it back over to Azza now, who will introduce our other speaker.
Thank you so much, Joel. So I would like to tell you that if you have any questions for Joel and about his career, please don't hesitate to share them in the comments. And now, just so I share my screen again, let's welcome our graphic design instructor, Chinweike Osuagwu.
Okay.
We hear you now.
Hi. I'm so happy to speak to you. It's all about the impact for me. My name is the Chief Creative Officer at Creative House Branding and Design Agency, a company into branding and graphic design, digital marketing, website designs, video adverts, and the rest of that. It's a company that works with ambitious to develop radically better businesses. Now, I started my career professionally as a graphic designer in 2015, as I also started Creative House Branding Agency. I can't tell you that I was perfect from beginning because significant growth has happened, but I can tell you that my design was admired by all. Okay, You can check on our website, www.creativehouse.com. You'll see how it works. It's a trap to be admired by all in your craft because it's quite difficult to grow with it. But one thing that upped my game is that I went on to solve bigger problems, and I struggled not to relent, which made my design for large firms, and this really got me associated with big problem brands in UK and Dubai, and in turn boosted my business. Now, having completed my certificate programs in London Business School and California Institute of the Arts as a brand manager and user interface designer, and having used Photoshop for more than 10 years now, I have what it takes to take anyone by the hands to show them the secrets to make designs as a graphic designer, no matter your level as a computer user. And that is why you need to really pay attention to this class. You agree with me that the presentation matters. Whether you are a business owner, you will need it to express your ideas on design to further grow your business. As a student, you need a skill to start in life. As a job seeker, you know you can make a living from it. As a working class, you can create another source of income because definitely you cannot rely on one source of income. Good 18 in this class, you're going to work with me on something. So let's get started, man. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So we'll give 2 minutes for the Q&A. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments, else we'll go to our next part of the agenda. I see there's already people who are super interested in video editing. Good for you. The duration of the course. If you're asking about today's session, each one will be about a maximum of 30 minutes, if I'm not wrong. You can correct me, Joel and Chinweike. And if you're asking about the courses, we will give you every detail about it at the end of the webinar.
Yeah, I plan to have my demonstration here today be about 10 to 15 minutes long, but feel free to time me. And if I go too long, you can cut me off.
If that's it, let's carry on with our agenda.
Okay.
I will share my screen again. And let's welcome again our video editing instructor, Joel, who will be teaching us some basics about Premiere Pro. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. All right, we're going to go back to Premiere Pro. And I'm going to show you an actual video that I have been editing. This is a wedding video. You can see there's a lot of moving parts to it. And I want to make it clear that what I'm going to do here today is just give you a sample of what Premiere Pro can do. You know, just a taste of all of the different effects and special little add-ons that you can put into your video. I'm not necessarily doing a tutorial here. So if there's, you know, if you're like, wait, slow down, how did you get to that thing? And what do I do? Don't worry about that. That will be in the course. But for now, I'm just going to give you a sample just to show you what Premiere is capable of doing. All right. So first of all, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to come to the very beginning of my video here. And I'm going to play this for you. I'm going to make sure that my sound is on so you can hear the beginning of this video. And I'm going to hit play.
Now, for the very first time, I would like to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Warren.
Okay, great. So this is a good start to a video. It's very exciting. It jumps right into it. You know, there's not very much lead up or anticipation. It's just like oh my gosh, they're married, which is great. That's how I want it to start. But there's a problem here. And when I look at this video, let me make this a little bit bigger so sure you can make sure everyone can see. I'm going to make this a bit bigger. There's a problem when I look at the color on their faces. Right here, it looks pretty good. But when I come to this next clip, they're very orange. And I think that looks just a little bit unnatural. You can also look at the white on her dress, and you can see that it's very warm. It feels very orange. And I want to correct that. I want to change it and make it look a little bit more natural. I want it to look a little bit more like this scene right next to it. You can see we're switching from camera to camera, but not all cameras shoot with the same color. So I'm going to have to correct them to look similar. Okay. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on this clip. I'm going to move to my color workspace. What's different about my color workspace? Well, first of all, I have these things over here on the left-hand side, and they're called scopes. And scopes give me some relevant information about the color and what's going on inside of this clip. So this is one of my favorite scopes over here on the left-hand side. This is called RGB Parade. And it's a parade because you can kind of see the colors are lined up in front of each other. It doesn't really look like a parade, but that's what we call it. So this gives me important information. Let's say that I couldn't even see this clip. Let's say that it was just, I don't know, I was only looking at the scopes. I could tell you that this is too warm. It's too red. There's too much orange in the image. So I can tell you that because I'm looking over here on the left-hand side, and the red is much higher than the green and the blue. It's out of balance. So I'm gonna correct that, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm gonna come here to curves, and I'm going to click on this red dot right here. This allows me to control just the red parts of the image. I'm going to come up here to the top right-hand corner. I'm going to drag this down. And you can see as I do that, I'm taking the red out of the image. And you can see I can obviously go too far. I can take all of the red out of the image. We have a completely blue, unnatural look. Now watch these scopes on the left-hand side. You can see that they move up and down as I grab on this control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in about the same balance as the green. Okay, you can see that the levels are about the same. The very tip is like in the 85 range. This is my scale right here on the side, 85 to 90. So I'll leave that there, but I still have too much blue. The blue is kind of out of balance here. So I'm gonna try and pull that down just a little bit so that the blue lines up. It's more in balance. Okay, that looks pretty good. They're all about balance there. I've got red, green, and blue, and the image is looking more natural. They do look still a little bit too orange, but let me show you the difference, because sometimes when you're looking at these for a long time, you're messing with all the controls, it's hard to see, well, has this changed at all? Like, what happened? What did this originally look like? In order for us to do that, we can click on this FX button right here. What that does is it shows us what we did before and what we did after. And I can see, okay, that's much better. That is way less warm, way less orange. You know, it's not exactly where I want it yet, but it's pretty good. So the next thing that I can do, because I'm trying to match this up here, is I'm going to take down what's called saturation. Saturation is in this panel here. What saturation does is it brings more or less color into the image. You can see if I go all the way here to the left, this is a black and white image, there's no color. If I bring it all the way to the right, it's very colorful, a little too colorful. This is what's called oversaturated. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm just going to take the saturation out just a little bit. You know, normally I like color, but by doing that, wow, this is so much more natural. This actually looks like somebody's skin tone, at least these people's skin tone. So I'm going to go back to my FX, turn that on, turn that off again. I like that a lot. That is much more natural. And it matches up with the scene that I have right here. So that's just a demonstration of color correction. You can see Premiere Pro is very powerful with being able to manipulate colors like that. So even if you don't get it exactly right when you're filming, you can come and you can fix it here in Premiere. All right, so let's move on to the next clip now. So I'm going to take you to this part of my video. And I have this person, they're giving an interview. I'll hit play and you can hear what they're saying.
Congratulations. 30 years from now, you'll still be married, and I'll say congratulations again.
So kind of the premise of this video is that everybody is telling the couple what it's going to be like in 30 years, or some advice or encouragement for them as they go through their marriage. But what I want to do, in case these people are watching this video 30 years later, is I want to add in some titles, some text to remind everybody who this guest was. You know, maybe they've fallen out of touch and they don't know this person anymore. So I'm going to add on a text or a title. I'm going to move back here to my other workspace. And I'm going to grab what is called a MOGRT. It's spelled M-O-G-R-T. It rhymes with yogurt. And it stands for Motion Graphic Template. And what's different about a motion graphic template, I can create really basic titles in Premiere just by clicking on this title tool right here. I can bring it up to the top onto the actual image, and I can type in this guy's name. His name is Spencer Swift. And I can just put that on just as it is. But the problem with this is it's not very interesting. If I play this back.
Congratulations. 30 years from now.
All it does is it pops on screen and it pops off. There's nothing very visually interesting about what I'm doing here. So what I want to do is use these MOGRTs where a lot of this work has already been done for me. So I'm going to take off this clip, go back to browse. I'm going to grab this lower third 6. I'll show you what this MOGRT does. So first of all, it's a little bit too long for my clip. You can see that it goes into the next clip, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be saying someone else's name. So I'm going to trim it down. And as we play this back,
Congratulations.
You can see that there's some animation to it. It's much more interesting to watch. You know, the tree grows out, the white lines fade on screen, the text blurs into focus. It's much more interesting. What's really nice about this is that I didn't have to do any of this animation. This was already created for me. Someone created this template, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the words. So, you know, a skill that would have taken me a year to learn, or maybe 3 years to learn, and maybe I don't know how to draw or do this animation, which is a skill set for someone else. I can just use what they've done, download this template from online or from a creator, and I can use it myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Spencer Swift. And looks like there's another line down here that I can put something in. So I can say he was the best man at the wedding. Now, hopefully the couple actually remembers who this person is. If they were their best man, they don't need to be reminded in 30 years, but we'll put it in there just for the heck of it. And what's also pretty nice is that I can change the font. So I don't really like that font. It's kind of small. So I'm going to find a font that looks handwritten, that kind of matches the theme of this wedding. I'm going to look through here. Let's see. There we go. That looks like a handwritten font, but it's still very small. So using these controls, I can make this a bit bigger. And maybe I can move Spencer Swift's name up so it's not quite as crowded. And that, just like that, I have a really nice professional looking title. All I had to do is make a couple of changes. So those are MOGRTs. Text and titles is a big thing in Premiere. So I just wanted to give you an example of that. Okay, moving on. I'm going to come down here to this part. And I really like this. It's one of my favorite parts of the video because it's really sweet. It's a very romantic moment. They're dancing together. There's some music playing in the background. I think this is their first dance. They kiss, so it's great. It's a lovely moment in the wedding. What I want to do is I want to add a little bit of visual interest to this. I want to take it up a notch. I want to use what's called a lens flare. And I'm sure you've seen lens flare before. If you've ever watched like a Star Trek or a J.J. Abrams movie or Star Wars, that director really likes to use the lens flares where these lights shoot across the screen. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to come to libraries. I'm going to grab this flare right here and drag and drop it into my project. This is where all of my footage is. And then I'm going to bring this flare on screen onto my timeline. And there we go, there's that flare. But the problem is, well, I can't see the footage that's underneath it. This is just black and it's flashy. This would be a terrible thing to leave in my video. So what I need to do is I need to blend these two together. You can almost think about blending as taking a piece of glass and setting it over on top of your film. And you can write on the glass, but most of the time you can see through it. You can see through most of the image. So that's what we're going to try and do here. I'm going to click on Effect Controls and change the blend mode. There's lots of different kinds of blend mode, but the one that I like the most is screen. And just by clicking on screen, I can start to see through the image. You can see that like clear piece of glass. So let me show you that. So now I get this really nice lens flare that comes across the screen. I really like this a lot. Like you have this kind of orange film look up on top. You can see them. It feels very romantic. It feels very personal. So that's the kind of thing that I want to add with an overlay. So let's play that back. Let's play that back with this new overlay here. I'm going to adjust its position just a little bit.
You cried a lot. It was really fun. I'm really happy for you. And you're probably still going to be, you'll be even happier because you're.
That's great. I really like that. I think that it's the little details that really sets the video apart. So there's lots of different flares. I mean, I've just got a whole collection of them. So if I wanted to add another flare in here, I would do that same thing. Anyway, that is just another effect that you can do here in Premiere Pro. And I'm just going to do one more fancy thing. I have this ending scene. I'll show you how the video ends. This is a fun part.
And thirdly, this is like the start of your guys' ministry together. And it will be cool to see where you guys are now when you view this video. So anyways, guys, congrats and have a good marriage. Great marriage. Great marriage. Bye.
So, driving off into the sunset, a classic ending. And then I have Maria and Brandon pop up there at the end, which is pretty cool, but I think I want to do something a little bit better. This goes back to Mogert's. I'll show you this one really quick and then I'll pass it over to our next speaker. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off. And just like that, I have this nice shiny gold title. And this one has a really cool animation to it. I think I'm going to have to render this. Rendering is a technical term that basically just means creating a preview so that we can see it. This might take a little bit too long because I think that this animation is quite complicated. All right, I'm going to hit cancel on that. I think that's going to take too long for what we have time for now. This is the part of the show where you have to say to cut me off. Okay, so I'm going to play that circle. You can kind of see it's a little bit stuttery, which even with the power of my computer, Premiere Pro will still slow things down sometimes. So this is the idea. There's a template here, and all I'm going to do to change this, I'm going to come up here to the top. I'm going to put in these guys' names. I'm going to put in Maria and Brandon. And I'll change the date of when they got married, which I actually don't really remember, but I think it was February 3rd, no, March 21st, 2017. And I just pop that in. And then that changes, those numbers change up there. And in case you guys can't see that, in case the quality through Zoom is not very good, that is a full screen. This is really cool. I really like this. It takes my very plain and basic white text and adds a lot of visual interest to it. See if we can look at this frame at a time. Yeah, there we go. Those flowers are starting to grow. Very nice. And you have those sparkles. I think that's a great way to end. And with that, I will end my Premiere Pro demonstration. Again, this was just a sampler. It was not really intended to be a tutorial where you can see step-by-step how to do this. If you do want to see something step-by-step, be sure to check out my course. Now I'll pass it over to Azza.
Thank you again. And now I will be waiting for your questions for this part. So please share with us your questions. But since we are waiting for your questions for Joel, I would like to ask a question myself. Can we use Premiere Pro for videos like Reels on Instagram and things like that? Because I always try to make videos, real videos on Instagram, but I never found the right program, if I may say so, to help me do that.
That is a really good question. I like that question a lot because it's become a more popular question over the past couple of years. You know, more and more people are watching things vertically. You know, normally we're very used to seeing things on a TV screen in this horizontal view where it's long across the top, but more and more we're looking at things on our phone like this, where the screen is turned like this. So for Instagram, I would definitely want to resize this. I would want to change what's called the aspect ratio. So let's go right here. Let's see, both of these are standing in the middle. And I'm going to click on sequence settings. What I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to flip these numbers. This is 1920 by, oh, am I not showing my screen? Oh no. Oops, okay. There we go. Sharing my screen now. Okay, so normally, I think I showed this already. We're used to seeing things like this, but more and more people are holding their phones like this. Well, I mean, we have been for a long time. So if I want to change it to be more conducive to an Instagram format, what I can do is come to this part of the video. I'm going to click on sequence settings. And you can see this is the frame size. This is the aspect ratio. It's 1,920 pixels across the bottom, 1,080 pixels up on top, so, or along the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these around. 1920, click OK, click OK. And what that's going to do is it's going to change my frame size to look a little bit more like my iPhone does. Now, the only thing I need to do is change this clip so that there's no black bars up at the top. But just like that, I have switched this to be Instagram friendly. Hope that answers your question.
That's an amazing trick, by the way. It could be helpful because you can make the same video and post it, for example, on YouTube, and you can post an intro of it in the reel to get more viewers from your Instagram to your YouTube channel.
Exactly. That is a perfect use case scenario.
Perfect. So we have questions here. The session will be recorded and you can see it later. We will send you everything. That's why another reminder to send us your emails here in the chat so we can send you all the details in mail. And another question about how do we get the most recent Premiere Pro? Can we get the latest version of the Premiere Pro for free?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, you can get, I know for sure you can get a 7-day free trial straight from Premiere Pro's website. It's usually, I think it's about $30 US right now per month. There are some older versions of Premiere that you don't have to have a monthly subscription to. You can just get outright, but I don't know currently where to find those options.
And we have another question. What's the best computer to use for video editing? As you said, Joel, that even with your computer, sometimes it gets a little bit slow when you're using Premiere Pro.
Yeah, that is a good question. We could spend an hour talking about that question. And what's complicated it more recently is it's really hard to get computer parts right now because of the supply chain issues because of the pandemic. I will just say the most powerful computer you can get, whatever your budget allows, if you can get a more powerful computer, go for it. The main thing you want to concentrate on is getting a better processor. You know, people will talk about graphics cards, you know, it really helps with gaming. Graphics cards are really hard to get, they're really popular. But the thing that's going to help you a lot more with your video editing is your processor, your CPU, your computer processing unit. So I would look for that. Second thing that's important is to get a good amount of memory. So a computer that has at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, RAM. 16 gigabytes of RAM, a good processor, you're going to be in a good place. You know, there's some other things you can get, but that's probably the most important stuff.
So thank you, Joel. I guess that's it with the questions. Thank you for all the information that you shared with us now. And now I'll share my screen again. And let's get started with, just a second. Yeah, let's get started with Adobe Photoshop with Chinweike. Welcome.
Okay, so you can see me now, Ba? I'm so sorry about that. I don't just know what happened. Maybe I had a bug on my system. Okay, so very fast, let me not waste so much time. Let's get started. I'm gonna switch my screen now. Okay. So now, okay, here's my screen. Now, for Joe did something about he did something about wedding videos, okay, and he was able to put together the parts of the events for the wedding videos, okay, and then most of these clients, they prefer to have their videos on YouTube where it makes it accessible for them to see, as in make it more accessible for their friends to be able to see it, okay? So right now I want to just make you to understand what these thumbnail videos look like. So I'm gonna open this via my guest account. So okay, guest mode. Okay, that's cool. So right here, I'm going to open my youtube.com and let me show you what these thumbnail images look like. So is this clear to you, or is it kind of mirroring?
Everything's cool.
It's cool? Okay.
Yeah.
So right here, I want to let's search okay, the wedding video in say 2022. What is wedding? Let's say wedding video in 2022. So you'll find out that there are these thumbnails that are used on these videos. Okay. Now, for some of them, they were just maybe 2 clips from the video and just put into there. But now I want to make something very much different from what they already have here. So I want us to, these are some clips from the video that was shown to you. So here is Photoshop, and this is what the Photoshop workspace looks like. Right here, we have the menu bar. On the left here, we have our tools bar, move to, Mark You tool, Lasso tool, and these other tools. So right here on the right, we have some panels, color panel swatches. And one beautiful thing about Photoshop is that Photoshop allows you to move things around in it. Right here, I can move around my color panel. I can decide to have it right here, depending on how it allows me to work. Now, I can have my layers panel all the way by the left. And good thing, if you have scattered this thing around that you just want to reset it to the default, you can simply come here and reset essentials. So very fast, let me not waste so much time. Let's get started. I will try to make this very fast as possible. So I would like to close this group and this group so that it allows me to have my full layers panel. Okay, that is that. So most of these images have been worked on, but then I just want us to understand some of the concepts. So for this image here, I'm gonna take you to crop them. I'm gonna delete this layer mask, man. Okay, that's cool. Then right here we have a pen tool. I'm gonna use this pen tool to crop this image to remove the BG. So this is just how you move around my image. Trying to make it a bit faster, you know, I already had a lapse in time. I'm going to skip this process and let's revert. So to revert, I can always do my control alternate. When you go around and you're able to, let me just show you this. Now, let me try on the pen tool. When you're able to go around, you find out that you, when you close it and make a selection, you'll be able to make a selection out of it and then have your way to maybe crop it. But okay, all right. Okay, that was an under image, so bad. Okay, this is it right here. So I'm gonna just move, split off these other ones so that we'll see what we are doing. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna delete mask. So like I was saying, when you're cropping an image, you have to, this to make you to understand that you always have to select your layers properly, know which layer you're working on. So right here on this image, let's say I want to crop. So this is just how I'm gonna go around till I'm able to, sorry, I missed that, backspace. So I think the hair started from around here, like too fast. Okay, I think the hair started from around here. So maybe something like this, around till I'm going to be able to cover this image. Now, all these details, I'm gonna explain them in the tutorial, but I'm just gonna make a very quick one. So let's say we want to crop this image and we can use our pen tool to do this. Now you can come here to make a selection, and then once you're done making a selection, you can now quickly mask it. This way it's gonna remove the background, but then I think we've already done something like that before. So I'm gonna just simply go back to restore that. So to go back, I use my Control, Ctrl, and Z. Okay, I think it's back. Okay, okay. Bring that back. Unfortunately, in Photoshop, when you have when you've gone back so many times, I think it doesn't allow you. It allows you up to a specified amount of history to go back. So we are gonna start from here. We're gonna start from that image again. So meanwhile, okay. So for this image, I'm gonna crop it. I have to crop it, and you can now have access to see how I'm gonna crop this image. Okay, so here is the hair. I'm gonna make it a very fast one to save time because okay, just go to the light and I'm able to see this very well. But then I just want you to understand the basics about this. Okay, so quickly gonna make a selection, and then I'm gonna hit my mask tool, and that's it for now. So we can then adjust the colors through the adjustments and curves or layers, or levels, and then their brightness. But then I've already done these things to be able to save some time. So right here, you find that this image has been adjusted, the brightness, the contrast, the curves, and the brightness and the curves here. So I'm going to turn these things on so that you can be able to see with me. Let me turn these other layers first, and then you can go through that. Okay, that is much better. Okay, okay, yeah. So, okay, that's it for the layers. These were the ones I didn't select. I'm not making use of this one. So, first of all, we are going to start sizing images. So let's say, let's just take all of them down first. So to select all, I'm going to hold my shift key. After selecting the top one, I can now select the one below. Now I can now use my Control T and then reduce this. So you guys can just watch and see how we're going to achieve this. Now for this, I'm going to push it down here. I'm going to turn on this, that this has already been done. So let me just scatter these things around. Okay, let's scatter them. Okay, I then turn this, I have to turn on this, and then turn on that, and then these are the already effects that have been done on that. So let me just match that, and then come back to Smart Object. Now for this one, I'm going to just move this one place. These are all the attendees of this event. And I remember I said I want us to do it in a very creative way, in a very different pattern. So we just watch as I'm gonna achieve that, okay? I think that was used to do something. Okay. I'm going to work on this. So here is it. Some of these unwanted things. Okay, then I'm gonna turn off the layer mask. Okay, something is wrong there. Okay, I think this was used to fill just below here, but then we're still gonna create that if we want. Use it to increase somewhere around there. So these are all image of the people that attended. So now I would like us to, let's pick the client image, the celebrant's image. Let me use that. Where did I keep it? Okay, that'll do. So we want to make use of this image. So right here, we're gonna tune this down. Okay, I don't think this is gonna be the best image for this. So let's go on to select another image. I think we can. I think this is a better option. So I think this is a better option. So we can make use of this, and then here it is. Now we would like to arrange these images just around it so that it looks as though we have this people just around here. So how do I do it? Okay, I'm gonna put the guys on the right side so that they can be with the groom, while I put, let's just be having this done immediately. Okay, I think it's very full. We can have this guy down here. It's just cool. We can take the size up a bit, and then can take it down so that it's just below these two guys. This other guy has to come somewhere around there. But then you notice something about this picture, the head is chopped off. We can't have this guy there like that. So we're gonna do something. Let's rasterize this layer so it allows us to work on it. And then I'm gonna apply the mask. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is to use my clone tool. I would like to fill up the head of this guy. Someone chop it off. Okay, I think maybe it's from the points. Okay, let's say, it's for the images. And it's gonna be easily spotted if left that way. So something like that. Okay, I just want to have something. I'm just gonna imagine his head. I wasn't there with him, so I just just have to imagine what his legs like. Okay, I think we have something good here. Okay, then we've fixed that. So I would like to convert it back to a smart object, so that's going to help me retain the quality of the image. So I can have this guy right here. Okay, I think, no, I would like to have this guy here, and I'd like to have this guy here at the front. Bring him forward. As you notice what's going to happen on this layer once I have him at the right place, once I bring this layer to the right point. So I'm just taking him up so that I can see where he's going to apply. So you see that in the layers, you can be able to move things depending on how you want them to be. If you want them to be at the top or appear at the top, you have to move them to the top. So that's just a simple explanation about the layer. So I want this guy to be closer to the groom, so it looks as though he's looking at the groom. Now, okay, we can have this one right here. Then this guy, let's see whether he can fit in. So let me use his head to block off. Okay. Now for the one at the back, I'm gonna do something. Okay. I hope you guys are following. Okay, let me select that image. I'm gonna put him somewhere. I need somewhere he can at least. Let's take him up a bit. Okay, I think this is making sense. Okay. Okay, I think it's gradual. So let me not go much into details as I just have limited time here. Unless Azza is going to give me the privilege to continue. Okay, I can have this guy right here. And then, we want to create something that's going to look very much different from what we just saw. So we would have to, this is something that's going to bring in the celebrants' images and make them feel very much among. And having been experienced in the design industry, I have a way of understanding what people actually love. So people love you having them right there on the thumbnail, and they'll help you share it more if they are on the thumbnail. So I'm gonna have this right here. I think this one needs some space, so I'm gonna take it up a bit. And if you notice, I am working with the depths. As you notice, this one is a bit bigger than this one, So you find out that I'm very, very much intentional. I think I've not, there's the color corrected image. Okay, I think for this image, I might have to do some filling. So now the filling I'm gonna do here now is for the under the clothing. So I might have something. Okay, let me take her closer here. I might take her a bit up because she seems too far the way she appears. Okay, and then I can take it. Okay, Okay. So right here, I just want to have her clothes a bit extended, so it looks as though here is filled up. Then the next person, okay, come here. Yes, cool. So though I feel this side is a bit more, is a bit how would I put it? They seem smaller than the guys. So let me see if I can have a group for them. Okay, I think these are the girls. So I'm gonna name this some of them might be married. I'm gonna call them women. I don't trouble. So these are the women here, and then okay, okay. I think this is quite cool. Now for the guys, I'm gonna take this guy a bit down so that they have a very good level. So I'm gonna group these guys and then let's take them a bit up so that they get a bit bigger. This guy, I'm gonna take him down. This guy, I'm gonna shift him towards this age. Okay, I think someone else started screen sharing. Joe, please check. Okay, so are we good now? Can you hear me? I think you can put that on the chat section if my class is still. I think I'm back. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna rename this group to the men. Okay, and then for the couple, let's take it up a bit. Okay, that's not it. So I'm gonna delete this one. This is not of no use. As you see here, you find that my layers are very much organized with the groups and stuff. So I'm gonna take these guys a bit up, and then I think this is getting just like it. Now I would like to have a frame here. So I got something online. So I'm gonna try and bring it in. Okay, here's the frame. I really love the frame, and I like to have it right here. So you guys are gonna see how I'm gonna put this frame in. Okay. So first of all, let me use a similar background. So I'm gonna use my rectangle tool to make that background. Since it's gonna be so difficult and it's gonna take so much of our time trying to cut this whole place up. So I'm gonna have that like, okay. So now for the frame, I'm gonna use a mask, and then let me make use of the brush. So you're gonna see the brush at work now. I'm gonna try to, if you notice here, you find that there's a little difference between the two backgrounds. So I'm gonna try to fade to paint this around that on the top. Try to find any places having difference. So this way, I've been able to remove the edges that were showing. Now, the next thing for me to do is the name of these guys are Maria and Brandy. Okay, let me confirm that just 1 minute. Yeah, Maria and Brandon. Okay, so I'm gonna make a text layer. Now I can change the color of my text to black. so that it's gonna write in black. So I'm gonna type Maria and Brandon. Okay, so these are the names of the celebrants. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I think Maria is a bit shorter and Brandon is longer. So I'm gonna take Brandon to the next line. Okay, okay. Then I think I need to take this down a bit. So I'm still there. I will just set some things. So right there on the window, I have to activate my character panel. So you've seen that on the window, you can really activate anything there. I'm gonna find a font that might be comfortable with me. Let's try high tide. No. That's not what I want. Let's say orthography. Okay, I think I prefer this font. So I'm gonna have that way. Let's take this up. As you can see, it's coming together. So right here on this image, you find that I've not made any effect on this image. I don't like the way this cloth is. I don't like the way its edges are. So I'm just going to touch it a bit so it's brighter. Okay. So see, just going to touch it a bit so it has a lighter feel, so it looks more transparent since it's a veil. So just gonna have it down. Now it feels more like a veil, and you've seen that behind it now we can see the frame, making it more as what a veil material should be. So I'm gonna make sure I don't paint this area since here is the body. I think it's cool. So we have to proceed. So right now I want to color correct this image. I'm gonna come to my let's use our curves. Let's check out the contrast of this image. So let's just brighten it a bit and then drop the contrast small. And then you notice that there's more red in this image than these other ones. So we need to work on it very quick. So I'm gonna come to our curves and then I want it to be showing this man. We're gonna have the red come down a bit. I think I'm gonna make that point here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the blue. I'm gonna take it down a bit. Okay, I'm gonna come to the green. Right, take the green. Now, it's gonna give it. So I'm gonna go back now to the RGB and then just push up this image a bit so that it has a similar color with this guy. So if you notice, we've been able to make it a bit similar. Okay. No. This back. And then I'll have to go back to my levels. Okay, let's try the brightness again. Instead of creating a glue one, I can always edit this from here. So I'm gonna try the brightness. I'm gonna take it down a bit. Now for the suits, I think it's off. That's off it. So I'm gonna just let's work on let's go back to the sorry, that's not it. Okay. Okay, let's say green. just within this midtone, I'm gonna just take it down. I want to achieve. This is what it's like, and this is what okay. For the green, for this part, and for this part, I'm gonna take it up. I think this is closer to the face. Should need some good time. So I'll take this down a bit. Okay, so now we're gonna head to color balance. Let's use that to make this image a bit closer. So I think we're getting right there. So lastly, I'm gonna just touch our levels to make it seem uniform. So right there, I think it now looks better and closer to these other ones. So the next thing we're gonna do here is I would like to have a pattern behind this so that it looks much better. Okay. Okay. So it looks much better. So right here I'm gonna okay. So I'm gonna import. Let me try to bring in a background. So this is something I saved, BG purple. So right here, I had to bring in a floral verify background. Now this looks more like a frame on the wall, and we have these guys just around this image. We can always make them bigger or make them smaller. So for the women, let's try to make them bigger so that so I don't want them to be bigger than the couple. Let's try to make the couple bigger. Okay. So I think now the couple is going to appear better. Okay. I think this is appearing on top of this clothing. So I'm going to take that just right below the picture. Now for this text, I'm going to like to have it as a okay, I think something like this is cool. Okay, we can now have this below here. Okay, then I would like to have turn it down. And, okay. Then for under it, I'm gonna want to give it some effects on top. So, and I would like to use my brush tool to achieve that. More like a light. Sorry. Let me try using shadow. Okay, I think that works. So now I'm going to try to paint the edges so that it gives it that cinematic look. And then try to do that right here so that it's going to give me direct me to the center of this image, which is this couple. So the next thing I'm going to do is to give it a general feel. I'm going to go to curves and let's say I want to give it a cinematic feel. We can take that up. Okay, we can take it a bit up here. Just want to give it a good feel. So let's still have something like this. And then I think we've come to the end of it. How do you see this? I think this is beautiful. I think this is beautiful. So this is what we can be able to achieve in Photoshop with a very little time. So if you have questions, I'm going to pass this over to Azza. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for all these amazing tricks that you shared with us. So let me share my screen first. And now we are ready to hear your questions. Before we move on to the next and final part, we already have a question with us here. What is the effect called where you put a large version of the text behind the smaller version of the text, like we have done in the thumbnail?
Okay, just repeat the question again. I didn't get you.
Okay, it's about the text that you added. It's about, yeah, exactly. It's about the text that you added of the names of the couple at the background of the thumbnail, if I'm not wrong. They asked what is this called? So how did you make that?
Okay. I think
About the
okay,
effect, yeah.
more or less. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Okay. I want to share my screen. Okay, so now right here at the back, we have this image. So just like the question you asked, how was this image brought to the back and not just right there in the front? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so now there's this thing about the layers panel. Okay, now the layers panel operates in such a way that this is the layer panel, and if you don't have it, you can always go to your Windows window on your menu bar, and right there you'll be able to have your layers. So if you want to have an image behind another image, you can simply drag that particular layer of image just down to the point where you want to have it. So let's drag it below the first image. You find that, okay, there's no closer. Okay, let's drag it below the main image. So you find out that it's just rightly below these guys, okay? And if you drag it below the women, you find out it's just below the women. So that's just how it works. It's more or less it's just like a building plan where you see the first floor, you see the second floor, and you see the third floor. Definitely, when you look at the building from the top, you definitely see the roof. But if you look at it from the side, you'll be able to see the third floor, second floor, and maybe the first floor. Okay, so that's just how the layer works. So any layer that you have at the top is more or less just like the roof. Now, if you look at it from the top view, which is your workspace right here, you find out that that image is going to be on top of everything, just the same way you have it on the building. I think that explains it. If you don't really understand it, you can always ask for more clarity. I'm here.
Thank you for answering this question. So I will share my screen again. So I would like to, before we end this session, if you like the content that our instructors shared with us, please do not hesitate to check the website Bepro Masterclass, where you will find our Adobe Photoshop and Premiere Pro courses. And Joel will be sharing with you the website in screen to see where you can find these courses. Again, I would like to thank you all for attending today's session. I would like to mention how important the skills that our instructors shared with us today, because as Joel taught us how to edit a video, and we can post that video on YouTube, but without a CAPTCHA and an interesting thumbnail, you may not reach the attention of all the viewers of this video. So that's why the skills that Chinweike shared with us today are very important. And I would like to share again my sincere appreciation to both our instructors for today's fruitful sessions. I would love to say also that the thumbnail that Chinweike shared with us is so much creative, because as I was scrolling through YouTube very time, I have never seen something that is so catchy and interesting like that. So we all know that social media is the new easy money source of income. Plus, it's funny, isn't it? Why don't we start thinking seriously about it and work in a fun environment? The editing skills are highly needed to start and boost your career in social media. And as Joel showed us, you can share the same video and just resize it from a video for YouTube to a reel on Instagram to a video on Facebook, for example, and just for the same video. So it would be much easier if we learn from our instructors how to do these tricks and learn from them more and more tricks that will make our videos and pictures stand out. If you want to learn more about Photoshop and Premiere Pro, make sure to get the full courses exclusively on bepromasterclass.com. I hope today was fun for you all and full of learning. If you have any suggestions or feedback, do not hesitate to share them with us today in the discussion and let us know what you liked and disliked about today's webinar. So finally, we loved meeting you all, and I'd love to see you soon again. And thank you all for your feedback, by the way. Just before we end, if any of you hasn't already shared his or her email address, please share them with us so that we can send you the recorded session and the link to our courses on bepromasterclass.com and the presentation that I shared with you earlier. Thank you again and have a good day. Thank you all. Bye.